Good afternoon, all. I'm happy to moderate this session. Um, so, the topic of our discussion is X factor. What is the success, you know, uh, behind the India most successful brand? What are the factors which defines the success, right? Um, Ajay sir, I would start with you. Fabindia being the brand which is in the country since 1960, being an Harvard case study, being a retailer, who promotes communities, who drives from the basic grassroots level and have more than 350 stores in the country. What, according to you, is the most important factor which has led to so much of success for your brand?
Thank you, Diwanshu, and good afternoon, everyone. I think one of the most important factors that has kept us young at 62 years of existence in India has been the strategy that we have never deviated from the signature from where we started. We have always made an effort to better the things that we have been doing, and the principle with which we started, that is supporting the communities, bringing up the clusters, uh, is something that we have stuck to. Today also, when we are looking at expansion, we look at expansion with the possibilities of doing more better things with these clusters, and obviously innovating the brand by giving better shopping experience to the customers. I think Fabindia is also a brand where the customer loyalty probably is one of the case studies that one can actually talk about. We have seen generations coming to the store, and we see the younger ones coming to the store, and we expect that they are going to stick with the brand for a very long duration. So keeping up with the signature where we started, keeping the ethos that we have been known for, not compromising on certain things which are a sure shot no-no for us, and innovating things in a way that we are actually presentable and we do things which we have been doing in the past, is an effort which we always try to put in whenever we are doing anything new, even today.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Murali Krishnan, right from right from the first store of Wow Momos, right, to the brand has come very far. You were one of the founder member, but you decided to join the company officially in 2018. Were you waiting for the success?
I was waiting for the leap.
Okay. But what, according to you, was the success behind Wow Momos?
Actually, I wanted to change the word X factor to CX factor.
Super.
I think it is the CX factor that makes a brand.
Super.
CX is how close you are to your consumer. I think unlike a lot of people say that this has been our bedrock from day one. This is what we feel is from day one. We are a brand that we believe that the best part of being a startup is basically a startup is ever ready to pivot, ever ready to change, ever ready to adapt, ever ready to be someone else at that particular given point in time because the consumer is someone else. I think that is what makes a difference between what is a startup and what is a business. Uh, for example, I feel Tata is the biggest startup in the country, because they have been ever ready to change, ever ready to try something new, and that is what we've been doing. We've been constantly innovating, and as and when the innovation extended, it ran parallelly with the consumer expectations. Being close to what they want, being close to now, being close to all the trolls, which is very important.
So I would ask another question, leading from your answer is, do you think the location of your stores or the kiosk or the food joints plays a very important role in customer experience?
Absolutely, there is, in retail, it's all about location. Like previously, we used to hear this statement very a lot. So three things that define success of retail is location, location, location. But
Has it changed?
it is changed. It is important, but it is not the only important factor. Because today you can be based out of Timbuktu, but you can deliver anywhere in the country.
So basically technology.
So technology has, so like I keep telling people that geography is history. So I personally feel that today location is important. Location is very important for brand creation. But for great delivery and consumer experience, location is not the only important factor. Because consumer is expecting a lot. आज हम तकिया खरीदने जाते हैं, हम दो तीन दुकान जाते हैं तकिया खरीदने. So our expectations out of a pillow has increased. Imagine food. We want the best dal makhani in the world. It's completely should be home-like. It should be amazing, packed amazingly well when you are delivered home. But still, you don't want any spillage on the top. You don't want the malai to be slightly spread. You take the photo, put it in the group saying that, yeah, I ordered malai dal makhani from this place. Look at the malai spilled over my packaging. So the consumer, therefore, we are also a consumer. We've also become very restless. Yeah. We've become our attention span, our possibly, the loyalty. 10 years back or 5 years back, I would wake up to loyalty. Today, I feel that it is far more important for the brand to do multitude of things to create loyalty. Like previously, David Ogilvy once said that consumer is your wife. But I think consumer is your girlfriend. You have to win your battle every day.
Well said. So, Mr. Anil Sharma, 2002, right, is the time since you are in e-commerce. And Mr. Murali Krishnan just said that, it is not only about the location, it is about the various factors which leads to customer satisfaction and, experience. What, according to you, was the game-changing point in the journey of Ferns N Petals?
Obviously, see, we have been delivering emotions. So if a brand gets associated with emotions, yes, there is acceptability. And second is with time, you have to realize that how are you connecting the dots? So in the sense, if customer is not coming to you, how you are able to reach out to the customer? So online was the option, and we were the earliest starters of omni-channel in India. So because we were opening stores also and we had a website also, the orders which we were generating from our website, we were delivering it through our offline stores, and people had the opportunity and to come to the store and ask for delivery to a different location. So that's how we connected all the dots.
Superb, sir. Niraj, we have heard a lot about technology in last two conversations, Mr. Sharma and with Murli, right? You being from a business intelligence solution driven company, how do you see this technology related to business intelligence can contribute a lot towards the success of a brand and improving the customer experience?
So, good afternoon. Firstly, it's a pleasure to sit next to two retailers who talk highly about technology. Both Ashim and I are very happy they're doing the sales for us. Thank you. So yes, technology, and I think a lot gets spoken about technology. We had a wonderful presentation from Ashim right now, which I think was outstanding. One of the best presentations I've seen of a tech tool. So my take, and I'm not going to talk, I'm going to talk generically of what we've learned from multiple retailers. I think we sit in a position where we're not talking only of one retail business, but of multiple retailers that we work for. So the thing about technology is think of it as a weapon. I think if you are given the Sudarshan Chakra, you will not become Krishna, right? So it is the application of technology which is the differentiator, I think, in every retailer, right? While we bring platforms and we build common services, I think it is a collaboration with how the retailer and a service provider can bring both of this together and create unique use cases where technology can be applied. I'll like to just give one quick example. About 20 years ago, and this is when BI and analytics was not really even in the picture in India. I checked into Chennai into a hotel, right? And I did my check-in formalities, and she gave me my key card. And just as I was leaving the counter, she said, "And Mr. Jaipuria, we will have extra sachets of green tea sent to your room." Just a simple statement like that she bought my loyalty for life. Now, when I go to Chennai, I only stay in that hotel. So this is what this. I mean, technology existed. This was no massive data analytics. It is just being able to apply technology to the customer experience or to your product betterment or whatever. So I think the X factor is not technology, but application of technology in the retail.
So you mean data in is the most important thing, right? And how you use that analytics.
Yeah, I think how you use that analytics. Everybody captures data by default, right? But very few people come up with innovative solutions. I have a lot of case studies. If we have time, I'd just like to talk about what my retailers have done.
So the point, therefore, I keep telling that the battle of brands today, it's not battle of, space, turnover, top line, nothing. I think it is a battle of that mind share. Today, when, for example, one pleasant experience where he says that is completely loyalty, complete loyalty for that. I think in the changing consumer world, this one single experience has to be replicated every day. So like you're as good as your last delivery. Yeah. And therefore, technology is also not the only cog in the wheel. Technology is, to me, is a support function. But mining insight is the most important part of today's business. How strong you are in identifying that insight and driving through that insight.
Great. So, Rajesh, my question is to you. So much of talks, people shifting from formals to smart casuals after COVID, dress codes are getting changed, in most of the organizations. I'm still wearing formals, but most of and especially the younger generation, the Generation Z, they don't believe in blacks and browns, and they all they're bold, right? How, as a brand, BlackBerry, changing according to the recent consumer behavior, and what factors you are adding in your offerings so that the customer experience is met for a 32 years old brand?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So it's an interesting question. Given the past few years, it's more relevant than ever. See, as far as Blackberries is concerned, Blackberries comes with the legacy of 3 decades, and the family is more than 100 years into the business. So the understanding of product has been the strength for Blackberry. So we don't sell, let's say, a trouser or a suit. We partner men in their journey to succeed. So that's how the role of Blackberries come into the picture in someone's life. So taking that cue, all our offerings, the way we do things revolves around that and not just about the product itself. And in that journey, we have sharpened our knowledge around Indian body types and fit. For example, Blackberries, I'm sure a lot of us in the room will agree, fit is the only thing which people will immediately remember about Blackberries. So the loyalty is to the fit which Blackberries have developed over a period of time. To give you an example, we put research and hours of working and understanding men to develop a single fit called India Slim, which is also patented. I think one of the very few brands to patent a fit. So coming back to the question, in that context, we've also consciously worked with customers to understand their said and unsaid needs. We in fact have a listening team who listens to customers just to hear what people are talking about. And then we pick a lot of insights which are explicitly said or something which is very, very unsaid, which you pick up as a business team, right? So in that journey, we've already picked up the evolving trends. And in fact, 2018, we have relaunched the brand identity, the new Blackberries all of us are seeing today. And so casual is a big part of our business. So our repeat is more than about 60%. At this point, it's a very strong repeat with the legacy we come from. So our repeat customers love our new introductions. For example, we launched something completely first time in the industry called Tech Pro as a product in the month of August. And within 45 days of its launch, we kind of sold out on the product. And that's on the casual side, or leisure, we call it business and leisure. So the adoption is very fast. It's about we continuously evolving with the consumers and also ensure that we bring it to them very closely at the moment of truth. For example, every Momo we consume, every bite of it has to be the best. Similarly, everything we do will keep customers in the center of it, and that's been the success factor. I mean, picking up from the gentleman, it's not about X, it's the CX, and that's been the mantra for Blackberries, and that's working for us very well.
Great, Rajesh. Pankaj, there is not India, right? There is not a single India. India is a plural, right? It's India's, modern India, traditional India, contemporary India, eternal India. Why laundry business came into your mind? And what was the factor you considered when you made the third largest laundry brand in the country?
So it's a very interesting story. My father used to run a lingerie store, and I used to be fairly good at studies. My mom said, "Let him do something in his life," and I went to IIT Delhi. I ended up selling lingerie, so my dad had the last laugh. Uh, the idea came from my co-founder, and who also to my delight happened to be my wife. So Neha, she grew up in a very small town, right? And she would say that after class 8th, ninth, and a lot of men will not relate to this. It took me 10 years to relate, so I won't complain here. After like class 7th, 8th, they would stop playing sports, some of them, right? Because when they were in smaller towns, just because as the body is changing, right? A lot of people don't even realize that they are making certain sacrifices in life, how it's happening. And she would say that when I go internationally, there's a huge experiential thing that I see. Lingerie purchase is such an experience, and in India, people not even caring, right? I mean, so something needs to be done. And I have been serial entrepreneur is a very beautiful term to say that somebody who's been doing the same thing again and again. And I had run an EdTech business from 2006 to 2012, right? So education technology, way ahead of its time. And I would say if you're trying for a business, please go for aspirin, don't go for vitamin. Don't try to do something where you have to educate the end customer. And so I would keep asking, is it a latent demand? Is it a real demand? That's the only question I would ask. And as we started to delve into the business and try to understand it, we realized that the whole opportunity is so humongous, right? And there were people who said that lingerie is meant to be uncomfortable. Of course, tier one people may not realize that, and you have to go into tier two, tier three towns to actually get a sense of how acute the problem was. So that's how Clovia was born. And the whole thesis of Clovia was also very simple. We said that we will not educate. Education is boring. Education is tough to put through, right? We said the whole thesis of the brand is joy, right? And there are certain problems in life that you can solve. The ones that you can't, you celebrate, and that was our thesis. We said, okay, let's just go out there and try to, in a quirky, in a happy way, try to explain people, right, that there is so much more that you can do if you're wearing the right innerwear. There is so much more happiness that can happen to you, right? And buying lingerie is like going on a first date, right? And that's what we tell our team all the time. If she doesn't like you the first time, she's never going to talk to you again, right? So you better be, at your A game, and that's what we believe in. So the whole thesis of Clovia was born out of joy, and we continue to do that. We continue celebrating. Our TV campaign broke out like 2 days ago, and the whole thought process there also. For the first time, A-lister Bollywood celebrity is actually endorsing lingerie, and I think Bollywood has paved way for a lot of brands to become mainstream. It took us a long journey to actually get A-listers to actually talk about lingerie in this country, and I think now that will become a bridge for a lot more people to do the same. And that's where the democratization of the whole thing will go.
No, I completely agree with you. In modern India, the 20, not even 20, the 7% of India. I was sitting with one of the laundry retailer last week, and he was telling me one of his store, 62% of customers are men, and those are repeat buyers, right? So people are changing. They are taking it more from an education perspective rather than from a product.
Let me add a little story there. This is 96, 97, so take it with a pinch of salt. A guy would enter my dad's store, whisper in his ear. My dad would take a brown paper bag, put a bra in it, and then, hand it over. It's like some smuggling is happening. And I was like, what the hell is happening? But my dad could not keep pace. And when we were researching the business, I would go back to him and said, Dad, why did you stop doing it? He said, yeah, I don't know what people have started asking me. And I said, that's it. I mean, now we've kind of cracked our aha. So, by the way, my dad's store converted eventually into a Clovia store now. So my full circle is complete.
Superb, superb. Mr. Menon, from Future Group to Bharti Walmart to now a unicorn, which is Lenskart, what according to you is the basic principle of customer experience and what customer looks at the store? Be it a bigger hypermarkets or a furniture store or a fashion store or an optical store, what is the basic pillar a customer looks at inside the store?
Okay, first of all, thank you very much, RAI, and also I think a lot of seasonal retailers as well as tech experts are sitting there. They have covered most of it. So I will just start with this that, there has to be a connect with the customer. The brand has to connect with the customer first, right? And then if, like what Ajay was also saying this, that if there is an emotional thing attached to that, the loyalty increases over a period of time. Adding with what Niraj said, how do you execute this is important, right? And most of the retailers don't get it right. Because connecting a personal connect or a connect, brand connect, and emotional connect has to be told in the form of stories, right? It has to be done more often than what it was in the past, because today it is a digital world, right? Today people have, influencers, people have different medias, whether it is Insta, whether it is FB, and the new Gen Z basically are looking at these mediums to buy. Like they say that now social e-commerce is going to be a big thing today, because the Gen Zers, they're saying this, that I will buy from social media 80% of our time if it is available for me, right? So we have to cater to these kind of demands. And Lenskart also started as an online company, as you have seen. But we have always kept customer in the top of our mind. And thanks to the pandemic, where 40% of the people have changed their brands, and out of that 80% of the people have changed the way they were shopping earlier, if they have used a different channel of shopping, right? This has helped us because we also moved that way. Now we are basically into, you can say, multi-channel rather than an omni-channel, right? Buy at store, return somewhere, then you pick up at store, right? Order somewhere. At the same time, we have alternative channel like assisted sales is there, home try-on is there. So, and now we are also going to be very, very active in social media buying, right? And basically. So we have to ensure this, that we are connecting with the customer emotionally in multi-channel way, right? In different channel, different media. Rather than segmenting the brand message, what is important is to segment the media. And the same message is going across so that the same experience is seen at the store. Today, unfortunately, what has happened is the customer journey has changed. Earlier, it was advertisement, come to the store, buy it, right?
Yes.
Today, what happens is people look at the Google, they look at the rating, they look at the online reviews, and then go to the store. And if that image is actually not matched at the front of the store, there's a total disconnect.
So you
The
mean to say product selling is becoming more or less like a service selling?
Yes, it is more so basically because they are seeing a customer experience through the different channels. And when they come to the store, they want the same kind of, socialization, the same kind of experience. And if that connect is not there, then the whole thing doesn't become seemingly good. So we will have to ensure that if a company is digitalized elsewhere, the same digital experience should be there in store also. Then you have a seamless customer experience. And that is what I believe that, as we go forward, more and more retailers will move into it. And that's what I think all of us here in the tech experts are also doing it.
Thank you. Naman and Ashim, I will come back to you, but a very important question. Sir, in about 6 years ago, you started a concept called experience centers. Earlier, Fabindia used to have flagship stores and all the stores, right? We have seen GK store, we have seen all the big stores of Fabindia, but the concept of experience center came into the picture. What was the reason behind it? It was because of customer experience, or it was because of some offering which you were trying to give to the customers?
So I think the CX factor, which Murali mentioned, I think that was one of the major factors for taking a decision on experience center. It was all about giving an experience to the customer. It was all about adding value. It was all about creating a neighborhood store where you don't have the hassle of thinking about driving into a mall, standing in the queue for parking your vehicle, and then going to different levels. Obviously, I mean, like, we don't offer multi brands, but then yes, the Fabindia stores, which have been known for peace, which have been known for serenity. So we maintained those ethos, and we said that can we look at a concept wherein we give an experience, we give a neighborhood experience in places like Bangalore, Bombay, where traffic is very high. Driving to a mall or driving to a place is going to take its own time, and then just take out that time. And obviously, I mean, like when you were doing that, we were looking at the formats, we were looking at everything possible about the offerings. So today, I mean, like 7 years back, 8 years back, uh, if a 2,000 square feet store would have been enough to display the brand the way we were, what we feel today is that the right size for displaying the entire range that we have is 5,000. And then experience centers, of course, are bigger in size when we talk about 8,000, 10,000. Very recently, we opened a 21,000 square feet store in Bangalore, which is the largest in the country. And it's a different level. I mean, like we call it an experience center, but this is a store where there's a lot of focus on home and lifestyle, where we have created a lot of concepts. And this is again trying and making an effort to be relevant in the current times. So 7 years back, probably there was no IKEA. Today, there are a couple of locations in the country where we exist next to IKEA. So if you are existing next to IKEA, then obviously you have to show that differentiation. And if you want to show the differentiation, you have to evolve, you have to innovate. This effort in Bangalore is basically on the same lines, wherein we have created concepts which is related to the dining rooms, the kitchens, the living rooms, the bedrooms, the kids' room, wherein we are creating an entire concept, we are creating an entire story, and we are selling that story to the customer. So experience center is all about giving an experience which is very different from what Fabindia has been in the minds of the customers, because we are a 62-year young brand now. And uh, uh, and obviously, I mean, like everything has changed, right? From folding that we used to do to having the garments which are hanging today. 90% of the garments which are hanging today, uh, the complete factor, X factor in terms of lights, in terms of ambience, in terms of the merchandise that we do. There's a lot that is being done on the Western front to get the new TG coming in. So Experience Center, we've always thought that this is a place where we'll be having the space, where we'll be having the liberty and the leverage and the flexibility to play with the concepts that we want to. And we are not stopping here, because there is a lot which is going on, wherein we are actually wanting to come out with something called Experience Center 2.0. There's a lot of work which is happening on it right now, and some of the experiments have also started. So it's not only what we created 7 years back, it is also about improvising it further.
Thank you, sir. Ashim, congratulations for your presentation. It was a wonderful presentation. Um, do you think metaverse will play an important role in Indian retail in the coming times?
Um, so it's all about creating experiences, uh, we lot of these experiences what Niraj is doing and all in the digital space. When we talk about RFID, we are the blockchain of the physical world. What blockchain is for the digital world, we are for the physical world. And we are a B2B brand. Okay, so customer experience and the brand value for a B2B brand is a little bit of a different flavor than retailers sitting here. So we have to create experiences at two levels. One is the customer experience for our customer. And when we are working for a B2C brand as a customer, the experience for our customer's customer. So metaverse, yes, definitely is the next thing to look at. We made a use of metaverse just to create this experience, wherein all the logistical challenges, it's still not what you can get in the real world, but it's very close to the real world.
I was in Bangalore last week, and I went to the store Azote,
Yeah.
wherein it is a new concept from one of the retailers in the country, and I have seen a lot of technology which you shown in the
We
presentation.
have deployed Azorte.
So it's amazing. It's
So Azorte is a Reliance brand, and we have been working with Reliance on RFID for 8 years now. And Reliance as a customer they are our customer since 2006. in industries, Jamnagar refinery, and so many other areas. But Reliance Retail is our customer for 8 years now. So Azorte also, they wanted to create this new experience. So the backbone of the RFID is still same as what we are doing in Trends, Reliance Trends, or maybe a Pantaloon for that matter. But yes, they have invested a lot more on enriching the customer experience and the buying experience. And of course, as the panel has been discussing, technology has been a key enabler in that. And yeah.
Naman, one of your colleague was giving a pitch to the retailer earlier in the day, right? And I heard him saying that, you contribute crores and crores of revenue to the brands every month. How do you do it?
Okay, so I believe that was Pulkit, right? And that's true about a lot of partners and brands that we're working with. So I represent magicpin. We drive discovery that leads to commerce for offline retailers. That's what we do. We are using, like I think everyone talked about it, we are using data and technology to create a wow shopping experience. And I'll cover that in a bit, but we are working with a large number of retailers, actually more than 200,000 in the country, to create a wow shopping experience, customer experience for their users who are on our platform. Now, how do we do it, right? If I think about the way our platform works, we've got like more than 1.5 crore users on our platform. We work with brands to help them know their customer. Who is their customer, what they are spending, where they are spending, on what they are spending, and then target that customer at the right time with the right messaging, with the right communication, and get them to their offline stores. Now, what that would mean is that, for example, we'd got store level inventory for brand partners we have. By the way, we work with a lot of people on this panel as well. So we'd have, let's say for a store, Puma store, we'd have a red shoe that's available in my size. I can search on magicpin and be able to see it before I even go to the store. So I save all the time and effort to discover before I even go to the mall or high street to check out what's there and click a button and even get it delivered, right? But the point is I make the discovery experience much better through the catalog. Let's say when a user is entering into a mall, we tell them, hey, you're inside the mall, why don't you head to the Superdry store? They've got a new collection there. And hence, we are targeting the consumer, getting them to the store, and then creating footfall for our partners. The other thing we are able to do, and I think Sunil talked about it, we get users to create ratings and reviews on a platform. That leads to massive amount of discovery. That rating review also gets captured onto Google, right? So those ratings and reviews are getting captured on Google. So if you go to Google, let's say you type magicpin or you write Peter England MG Road Gurgaon store, you'd see ratings from magicpin customers in thousands, and that's at a store level. So massive amounts of discovery that's happening through magicpin that allows retailers and consumers to connect and drive footfall. So, and partners include, like, of course, Murali, Wow is there, and we're working with Lenskart as well. We're starting with Blackberry. We worked with Fabindia in the past. So we worked with all the retailers. Shopper Stop, we do like 6 to 8 crores a month. Lifestyle, we do around 8 to 10 crores a month. McDonald's, we do 5 crores. So the volume of business that we are driving to our partners by creating a great customer experience for discovery and shopping is what allows us to continue to drive value for our partners.
Great. Mr. Sharma, have the consumer behavior changed post-pandemic for Ferns N Petals?
So I'll share a statistics with you. Around 10 years back, if you take a particular Ferns N Petals store, the online contribution in the top line used to be 30%. Before pandemic, during the pandemic, it was like 70% online and 30% offline. And now it is 50-50%. This is the current behavior if you talk about Ferns N Petals, what we are experiencing right now. So with the current lot of, the retail sector is being governed by youth now. So they are being very, very choosy about how they are shopping. And of course, yes, convenience is one thing. You can sitting at home, you are able to shop, but experience is also one thing. So 50-50% it is contributing, and I think this is the right form, because we were thinking that retail was lagging behind, but surprisingly, there was a lot of pent-up demand, and we are seeing a lot of growth in offline retail now.
Thank you, sir. Murli, when we used to design the mall in 2007, when I started my career, F&B used to be 5% in the mall. Today, F&B is about 25% in a mall, right? And we always say that fashion and food will go together, right? What, according to you, in next 5 years will be the role of F&B in a success of a retail environment?
I think in the next 5 years, experiential dining or food inside a mall would keep increasing, because the role of food today in the mall is limited to supplement people who are entering the mall. I think typically, if you look at an online platform, the job of an experience in an online platform is to increase the time spent on online platform. I think in 5 years down the line, and we've been trying to talk to a lot of retailers and see how we can integrate some synergies where we try to become food and help them shop while eating the food too, so that the time spent in the mall or the food court increases.
Dwelling time in the mall.
Yeah.
Mr. Menon, sir, according to you, where we should see ourselves in next 5 years? And when we talk about retail in India and the changing patterns and the formats, where do you see retail in India in next 5 years?
I will just say this, that retail in India is evolving. There is enough space for all the channels to exist. So obviously, I think what is more important is customer is evolving, right? So customer is becoming more and more demanding, like everyone was saying, and digitalization has been there. So this is a fact, and the more and more digitalization is going to happen as we move. So any retailer who is going to adapt himself to this fast moving pace, and also if you see, the shoppers and the younger generations have started taking decisions today, right? And the older generations are sitting at home now, most of the times. So the more you capture these retailers, these consumers who are young and who are digitally savvy today, and give a product to them give a product or an experience to them which is basically attached to them and which is going to service them and have that customer experience, I think that retailer is going to be successful. And it cannot be only on one channel. It has to be in multiple channels, which is evolving. Like I was saying today, whether it is chats, whether it is assisted sale, whether it is social e-commerce, which is happening, voice search, which is happening now, right? So also in cases wherein you have different medias which is coming up, like for example, exchange and return as a process now. It's become so convenient. I will never buy from an offline store where I'll have to go back. I bought something recently from Kolkata. I returned it in Bangalore in the same brand. Why will I buy in Kolkata if I cannot return it in Bangalore? So we have to understand this, that the consumer is changing, and anyone who is able to use BI or use technology, right, to work towards this customer experience is going to survive over a long period of time.
Thank you, sir. Rajesh, metros, for all the retailers are almost saturated. What, according to you, in next 5 years will be the growth curve for Blackberries?
See, Blackberrys is a multi-channel brand. I mean, so we have exclusive stores. We sell in MBOs, LFRs. They're in all the marketplaces, partners.com, all of that. So, and it's present in all the states, about 1,300 touch points currently all over the country. Now, from metro, non-metro point of view, yes, metro is challenging, absolutely, because the expectations are much higher. they're much evolved than the rest of the country, and of course they also inspire the rest of the country as well, the metro consumers. So I would say brands going forward, probably in the context of also the next 5 years, um, brands who play a role in someone's life will have a growth path ahead, and not just selling products and services. I think that persona of a brand needs to be very clearly defined. So people who are getting it right, brands who are thinking through what their role is going to be, are going to play an important role. While technology exists and it's going to continuously evolve. I mean, we're going to weddings are happening in Meta. I mean, I'm sure it's in different scale now. However, I feel human interaction and things like empathy is going to continue to play a big role in a relationship between a brand and a consumer. That is going to be more and more meaningful as we move forward. And third, while convenience, location, all of that will continue to be a key factor when it comes to retail. How do we kind of evolve CX is going to be the third important thing. I feel in that factor, what probably brands will start thinking through is to deliver the best EX. I would say the enabler will be the EX, employee experience. The most happy
Very important point,
employees
to be honest with you.
are going to be delivering the most happiest experience
Yeah.
for consumers. So how are we going to play a role there? That's going to be a critical factor. Yeah, I think and building trust, for example, or loyalty in a metro situation is going to be the most difficult thing, right? So when Gen Z, for example, loyalty is not going to come handy. So to build that trust, putting this all together, technology, human interactions, empathy, store experience, and then deliver a role in someone's life is a complex journey ahead of
Yeah.
all of us.
Pankaj, with a lot of international brand in the lingerie segment coming to the country, like Victoria's Secret and Hunky Moller and other operator, do you think it will further strengthen the lingerie market in the country because of increasing education?
So again, it is such a nascent, such a young industry, right? I mean, we're still scratching the surface. We're still it's still breaking out, right? It's still a baby, right? So even if you look at it, there are 4,000 crore plus brands in the men's innerwear space listed, right? And in the women's innerwear space, there's hardly any listing that has happened, right, for a very long time. So I think it is still just breaking out. And in India, the real juices, and talking of international, by the way, international always increases aspiration. And if you were to demystify, the whole explosion in India when it happens in consumption is when the aspiration goes high and the price comes to a certain level. It's the intersection of the two, right, where the two
Yes.
overlap is where the real explosion happens, right? And this is where we sit. This is so. Just to add to what you were discussing about tier two, tier one. 63% of my business is tier two, tier three, right? That's what we aim for. Tier one is spoiled with choices. There is so much that is there, right? But a majority of this business in my category, they say 60% of business is unorganized. The reality is it's not unorganized, it is semi-organized. There would be 20, 30 crore brands which are very, very small pockets. Western UP will have its own brand, right?
Yeah.
Because there's seasonality, there is distribution of 40 different sizes, which is so complex. This guy would know these like 800 retailers and he would live his life there. I think the whole idea is now to break out that semi-organized to an organized play, and that's what we have been working on. So it's not about taking some other brand's money and bringing to your kitty. That's where the real fun is. The fun is to upgrade people into a brand play and add to the pool.
So improvement of the whole industry.
Improvement
to
of
be
the
honest
whole
with you.
industry, I think. So that's what has started to happen. And I think the more the merrier. Let them come, let people open their eyes. And not everybody will go out and buy Victoria's Secrets. They will think about it. Victoria's Secrets, the person who was 20 years their CEO and founder, not president and CEO, she's also on our advisory panel.
Oh, great.
And the first time somebody was able to bring somebody like that in India. And I think what we have realized is very, very simple. Let people aspire for the best and make sure that you give them the best quality, but at the Indian pricing. I think that's where the real meat lies.
Naman, very quickly, you going to the brands, right, and adopting the brands in your platform, right? Your customers can go to brands. Have you ever tried this with malls?
So, not really. I think what we have done very well is worked with a large number of large brand retailers, but also go deeper into the smaller retailers. So, when I said that we've got 200,000 retailers, we've got, I'd say, 190,000 of those plus will be small mom and pop fashion boutiques, food stores, pharmacy chains, grocery stores.
I was
We
thinking,
have,
sorry, I was
yeah.
thinking in between the discussion, suppose I'm a customer, right? I have 1,000 magic pin points. I go to a mall and at my liberty, I can spend anywhere in the mall.
Yeah. No, and that's a good proposition. It's just that it's kind of fragmented. We've not done that. It is something that we've thought about a lot, but we've not done it in an organized way to go and talk to malls. But it is certainly on the roadmap, and we should definitely
Great.
talk about how we can engage that and make sure like customers get the best experience when they get inside a mall.
Superb, thanks. Niraj,
Yeah, of course. No doubt. And food may wow Momo on top.
Niraj, technology is getting a bigger things in every corporates in the country, especially Indian organizations, right? What do you see technology playing a role in next 5 years in the success of retail? And I'm not talking about retail brand, I'm talking about retail environment, malls, brands, omni-channels, e-commerce. What kind of an technology, how technology can play that role?
So I think lots of points to talk about, but I'll try to pick up a use case which is in sync with what everybody's talking about already. You mentioned how the customer is evolving over the years and what's happened. Pandemic, online, offline. So I think it's no longer a conversation whether you're online, offline, omni, etc. I think that's given, right? But the impact of that on a customer is if he's shopping offline, he's probably expecting the same kind of experience that he gets online and vice versa. I'll give you an example, right? So if you shop on Myntra, on Amazon, etc., you put 5 items in your cart. When you go to your cart, you will always have upselling thrown on your face, right? So people may also, you may also like, people also bought, etc., right? Now, we did this with with an offline retailer who was brave enough to say that, you know, I'm going to take this experience and put it in the offline store as well. So this is a, beauty and wellness retailer who's a customer of ours. What we have done for them is we've, on their POS terminals in every outlet, when a customer comes up with a cart, they scan the items in the cart, right? And within 3 to 4 seconds, there is a call made to a cloud service that we're providing where these 5 items that have been scanned are sent up to the cloud. Based on that, there is a personalized recommendation brought down on and showed on the cashier screen within 3 to 4 seconds, because timing matters here. And of course, the engineering part of it is when you're making a recommendation, your chance of success is as good as your ability to predict what is the next thing he will buy. So that's the engineering part. And of course, that evolves and we keep getting better. But I think this is the experience that has been a surprise to even the customers coming into this retailer's outlet saying, how did you know that I wanted to buy a shampoo next? Right. But this is that experience which he adopts because he's so used to seeing it online all the time. When he buys the same wellness product online, he's so used to Amazon prompting that you need the shampoo. Now he gets it in his offline store. So just an example of how technology and the application of that is really helping to make the customer experience seamless across your channel.
Oh, that will be very interesting to see. Murali, there is a very famous saying of Swami Vivekanand that if you have to belong to a place, you must know it by your feet. Do you go to your stores?
Absolutely. First 9 months of my joining, nobody in the system except for my co-founders knew that I have joined.
Of course.
So I was a trainee on ground, shifted between 2 cities, shifted between 7 different formats, between 2 brands. So even today, I think if you don't know your playground, you will never be able to bat well.
Great. Ashim, do you ever go to warehouses? Do you ever go to stores once the product? So let's take a live example. Have you been to Assorted store and seen what you have delivered?
We spend night in Assorted store, nights together to take the store live. Rather, you should ask whether I ever go to my office. I always spend more and more time, because uh, I am the most unproductive person when I am sitting in my own office. I don't work and I don't let anybody else work. So it's always better that, I am out with the customers, experiencing what they experience. And as I said that, uh, the creating experiences for a brand like us, like when we talk about i-TEK as a brand, I don't think anybody in this room knows that 60% of India's FASTag today is done by us, the electronic tolling FASTag. So, but the logistics vertical or the banks who are into FASTag, they all know us well. So when it comes to brand awareness, now retail, so when we are working across verticals like government, travel, transport, logistics, now retail, we have to wear different hats. And we can do that and we can maneuver all these things only when we are sitting with our customer. We do when we have to take a store live, the biggest challenge is the existing apparel in the store, which is 50, 60, 70,000 apparel. How to attach the tags to them and how to encode. Whatever is coming new is tagged in the factory. So we spend nights, we do pizza parties, we do birthdays, we do celebrations over the nights, and then only with those experiences, the trust in the technology comes of the store associates.
Yeah.
Like somebody said that, the employee experience plays a very important role. So the two level of experiences which we talk, our customers experience is the employee experience, and our customers experience is the consumer's experience. So yes, I do spend a lot of time.
Thank you. Ajay sir, how do you see our industry to work or grow in next 5 years? And what do you see the future of Indian retail in next 5 years?
Well, I think everybody is of the same opinion that it is evolving and it is getting better by the day. We are also witnessing a lot of consolidation happening, a lot of unorganized sector moving towards the organized side. So, with a lot of real estate also coming up in the form of malls, in the form of good high street developments which are happening, the highways which are actually throwing new options, airports. I mean, like I just got the pictures of the T2 terminal in Bangalore yesterday, and I was actually surprised to see the way the store has actually come up. And I mean, like we got the initial pictures when it was inaugurated by Mr. Modi, but yesterday there was a walk which was done with the brands who have the stores over there. So it's amazing. I think the real estate is evolving. The customers are going to get a very different experience. And I think more than anything, we are blessed because of the fact that we are in India. And today, every newspaper, every channel, every digital mode that you look at talks about the decade belonging to India. So we do hope that we remain blessed the way we have been till now. And uh, our strength of consuming the things within the country, because we have a big population base, and whatever we produce we also have the appetite to consume, a lot of appetite to consume it within ourselves. I think the retail is going to be in a much bigger and a better space in the next 5 years.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. That's all from our side. Any questions in the audience? I think so. That's, yeah. Lady at the back. Can somebody pass the mic there? At the back.
Hi, my name is Shipra Sharma. I'm the founder of Tattva Spa. We are looking to expand in the retail front. We currently operate 85 spas pan India, but with hotels, not on the retail format. So this is like a learning tutorial for us. So this is basically for anybody who's built the teams ground up. So when a brand is seeking to expand in the retail front, who would be your top 2 hires when you're building that team? Who would be your top 2 hires who will lead that build up of the brand on the retail front? Anybody who's sort of built it up from ground up.
Pankaj, would you like to take this question?
So again, it's a lot of facets there. Maybe we can talk just offline here, because we also operate in so many different channels, and every channel has a very different math to it. But for us, and maybe the answer is very rhetorical, but sometimes it's rhetorical because it's right. So So two people, if I were to just kind of, boil it down, one is the person who will expand your retail footprint, correct? So, when you say location, 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 who is that person who can actually drive that location bit? So for us, when we started offline and we were an online first brand, right? So we got in somebody, the first criteria was she has to be a woman, right? And that was a very complicated hire because, there weren't many. And she would have experience in building exclusive brand outlets, right? And so that was the first hire we did, and that's where this team building started. And second biggest in this whole component is marketing. I think, because jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai. That's what retail is about. Retail is detail. So that is the other thing, So one person who can make sure that we are at the right place doing the right thing, another person who can make sure that the right people walk into it. I think that's what's worked for us.
Thank you, everyone.